I'm angry. Well, I'm not really angry, but I should be. Recent developments in my local area have brought this to the fore. It's a situation that photographers have put up with for too long. I think it should be illegal, and I'm going to explain to you what's wrong and what you can do about it. Now this involves photography contests. We've all seen those photography contests over the years. Most of them are pretty good, or some of them are pretty good. They offer decent prizes and they give the photographer the rights over their own photographs. But recently there's been a spate of photographic contests in my local area, and I'm sure it's the same in your area, where companies, ad agencies, even local government have been trying to rip photographers off in the guise of being a photographic competition. Now these people are targeting photographers. They're targeting mostly amateur photographers, not professionals. A lot of times professionals are excluded from these competitions, mostly because they think maybe photographers know their rights and they won't put up with it. But more importantly, they're targeting young photographers, up-and-coming photographers who've got a passion for their work, for their photography. They're targeting those people to try and get a monetary benefit. The lure of a prize for getting the best photograph in a photographic competition is pretty great. It boosts our ego, it boosts our pocket, and it also makes us believe in ourselves and to show other people that we're good at what we do. Sometimes these competitions have an entry fee, which makes them even worse. The terms and conditions are the critical thing here. A lot of photographers enter these competitions without properly reading those terms and conditions. And there have been a few lately who have taken all rights and copyright, intellectual property away from every entrant in that competition, be them young photographers, amateur photographers, or whoever. Those people will be sending in the best photograph that they've taken, the one that they're most proud of, and they're really giving it away to these people, and the photographer can never use that image again, because by entering the competition they're agreeing to give away their intellectual property and their copyright to the person who sponsors these competitions, or the company. Now every country has slightly different laws in this regard. I can only speak from an Australian perspective, but in most places copyright or intellectual property means that the person who owns that can control what happens with that image and no one else is allowed to use it. Now the only reason that these people who run these competitions are doing this is so that they can get cheap, free images that they can sell on to people. They can create products with these images. They can put them in brochures, in magazines, in various different ways and make money out of your photography. If they had any scruples at all, they would be paying photographers, professional photographers, to go and shoot these images. That's what happened in the old days. And when I was an amateur photographer, photographic competitions could be trusted. They gave away good prizes, and it was only the winner or the runner-up that was able to be used in the promotion of that competition. There was nothing about intellectual property. They wouldn't take away your images. They were much more respectful of the photographer's rights. Now, not all competitions are like this. There are some great photographic competitions around who do the right thing and respect the photographers, so seek them out. Make sure you read the terms and conditions in all of these competitions, so get the full benefit of being able to enter these competitions. Put yourself up against other photographers and see how you rate. There's nothing wrong with that. That comparison is a healthy thing. But when companies, governments, individuals try to rip off photographers, particularly young photographers, then it's not a good thing. You can imagine a young photographer who's really keen, taking really nice images, happy with the images they've got. They enter their best image that they've ever taken in one of these photographic competitions, and that's it. They can never use it again because they've lost the copyright, they've lost the intellectual property in that image. Sometimes they say that you may be credited when they use these images. I don't think they're really going to do that. And a photo credit means nothing. If they're presenting a huge billboard, a little photo credit down the bottom is not going to happen, or it's not going to be any use to you whatsoever. But photographers tend to think that, well, that's going to get me lots of work, it's going to make me a famous photographer. Very rarely does any of that sort of stuff ever happen. You're really taking away jobs from professional photographers as well, which is a minor issue, but it's still there. Professional photographers are struggling to try and get commercial work because these sort of things are happening all the time. Imagine if you entered one of these competitions and you didn't even win anything. It's just entering the competition, and some of them charge you an entry fee too. Imagine entering one of these competitions and years later finding out that your image has been used here or wherever, where another company, not even related to the person or the company who ran the competition, is making a fortune out of your particular image, and you're not allowed to use it at all. It's just criminal, I think. It's exploiting people, it's exploiting young people, which I think is a really bad thing for our industry. So keep an eye on those terms and conditions, and if you see anything that worries you in these terms and conditions, question it, and make sure that you spread the word that anyone who enters that competition may lose total rights to their image.